well as World Cup champions, lined out amongst our field representing a number of different nations, just proving the popularity of the Live Oak International year after year.
Elegance is an attitude. Longines.
Well, thank you so much to Longines. Longines are our title partner, official timekeeper and official watch of the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup North American League. Longines' passion for the equestrian world dates back to 1869, and today the brand is involved in the most important equestrian events all over the world. So thanks to Legacy Medical Centers for sponsoring this forthcoming Longines World Ranking class. Our course starts going away from the in-gate. The Legacy Medical Centers black and white vertical going up the ring on a related distance to the Lugano Diamonds at number 2. 3 and 4 then is a related distance along the long side of the ring from the Longines vertical to the double at 4A and B with the red wings. Number 5 here is the orange and white going over towards the main public bleachers, and then it's a turn across the ring. Number 6, the vertical. Number 7 is at the top of the course. That's the Waldron Private Wealth. Before then, the triple combination line of live oak coloured poles, red, white, and black. 8A, 8B, 8C. The specification for our today's class is a meter 50 competition, and we'll see just about meter 50 on the verticals, 8A, 8B, and a shade under at 8C. And it's a 2-stride, 1-stride distance. Then the related distance down to number 9, which is the yellow fence, a very interesting fence in terms of its construction, particularly with that sort of fireplace effect. The hole at the bottom, the horse's eyes will be very much drawn down to look out and through that. Left hand, 270-degree rollback then to the blue wings with the grey and orange striped poles. Those horizontal stripes are very tricky little optical illusions for the horses. The final line then, 11 and 12 going up the side of the ring. The St. Patrick's Day standards there, the green, white and red on number 10, and then the fence at the end with the water tray underneath as well. And the water tray, another little trick to just draw the horse's eyes out and down. The rider's job is getting really engaged on the top rail. As we said, 83 seconds is that time allowed to be set by Olaf Peterson Jr., the level 4 course designer here. And if they are clear inside that, and we have more than one clear inside that time, we'll end up with a jump off against the clock over a short course to decide the final result of this class. Thanks so much to Legacy Medical Centers for sponsoring and in America he's
Well, hello and welcome to Live Oak International. We've seen some great sport already here this weekend, and this afternoon is going to be a treat as well, actually. It's a $40,000 four-star competition, comes courtesy of Legacy Medical Centres. Live Oak, though, a great event, one that's a real key one on the calendar for these athletes. You know, a lot of the world's best spend the winter in this state of Florida. And it's quite nice for them, you know, if they have been down in Wellington, to come to a bit of a different environment, to have a look at, you know, a big kind of grass field, and this footing's got so much science behind it. It's actually got a surface underneath. We'll talk more about that later. For now, though, we can see the runners and riders that we are going to have in this first round of the competition. Some good names in there, isn't there? Even on that first page, Santiago Lambri's been on form. Andre Tima, one of the best in the world. Alexandra Crown, that's probably the best horse on her string at the moment, actually. Coming in as our sixth to go on course. Then we get to people like Mario Delorier, Coco Faith, good young rider, Luis Sabino Goncalves. Jessica Phoenix is normally someone we see in the discipline of eventing, represents Canada to Olympic level in eventing, so good to see her in the show jumping ring, and she comes forward here with Freedom. Nick Delajoyo's in there. Hannah Selleck's got an exciting horse. That horse called Cloud is one that Mario Delorier used to pilot. Jordan Coyle, we know how competitive he is. Megan McDermott's got quite a few horses with us here this weekend. And as that start list continues on, you know, people like McLean Ward are here. He is competing down in Wellington this weekend, making that journey back and forward. Nikki Walker and her championship horse, Excellent Bees, here. The ultra competitive and getting ready for World Cup finals. Daniel Coyle's in the mix with Legacy. And then to round things off, Will Simpson, who did very well yesterday. Today he rides Whoop De Doo. Andre Tima with a second ride. Ashley Bond's in there. And Devin Ryan as well with Hangover. He'll be our last to go. It is a jump-off competition, the format that we see here today. So that means after the first round, if there's any tie for first place, then we'll go to a single jump off against the clock. In the first round, though, there's a lot of jumping out there. It's very meaty. And as we saw briefly, it is Olaf Petersen Jr. of Germany who is in charge of designing the courses here this week. He's one of the favourites of the athletes. He does travel all over the world. And it's great to see what all he's going to have in store for these athletes. Best of luck, of course, to each and every one of them. As I mentioned, it is a jump-off format. So in the first round, all about leaving those fences up and getting home within that time allowed. But we'll look at that course in a bit more detail in a sec after Santiago Lambri gets on course with him. He's got a horse called Casey. Quite a new one for Santi, actually. He was competing with his brother down in Mexico. Santiago took over the reins, and then when he started, she just needed a little bit of mileage, and since he's found that, they're just going from strength to strength. But it's a 13-year-old mare, this one, by Curtani. This is Santiago Lambri and Casey to get us underway. And we start over a vertical here in this one. That's the vertical, left-handed, slight kind of bending line down towards an Oxer, fence number 2. Then a big wide open rollback turn sends them to the long side, and this is quite a committed line. We start here with the vertical, then we want to sit up and get organised because we come down to a double combination. Oxer in, one non-jumping stride, upright out. Round the bottom corner, past the in-out gate, brings them towards this kind of orange wavy looking Oxer, fence number 5. Right-handed once again, coming kind of across the diagonal of the arena to the NetJets vertical, fence number 6. Then left-handed back up towards the top end, another Oxer, quite square that one as well, fence number 7. As you can see, Olaf Petersen, our course designer, really using every inch of the string, sending them up and down. Triple combination here, upright, and then Oxer out, 2 strides to 1 stride. Then this fence comes at you so quickly, fence number 9, and so delicate, so skinny. So that's going to be quite a kind of technical gymnastic line. Roll back round towards that vertical, big gap in the middle there, and then it's down towards the final line. And this is a power line. It's Oxer and Oxer with Liverpool water tray underneath to finish. 75.94 the time there for Santiago Lambri and Casey, representing Brazil, getting us off to a cracking start as well, actually. Congratulations to him. So that was a good look at the course. We can see the weather. Completely different from yesterday. It was an absolute scorcher, so warm yesterday. It's been a bit windy so far. We've had a little bit of drizzle, but as soon as the competition got underway, the heavens have opened and the rain is chucking it down. Young talent comes forward next, Lars Kirsten. Big Beauty Z, 9-year-old mare. This one by Big Star Junior. As I said, a large young rider, 23 years of age. His family all involved with the sport, though. They've got a nice training facility in the Netherlands. Lars made his Nations Cup debut last year, and he's had this ride for about a year now. Had some good finishes in Mechelen towards the end of 2022. The horse got quite a lot of blood, but Lars, really works hard to try and contain that energy and just keep that nice established rhythm all the way round. You can see that blood coming into play there. The horse cutter just fights and says, "Let me at them, Dad." But Lars just tries to close down when he has to, take those checks. Gets organised down this distance. This is the line I think we're really going to keep an eye on as things progress here. If you don't come in with a great canter, it's going to catch up with you as you get through down that distance. And even if you get through the triple combination and you come on with too much energy, you're going to get caught there. But you can see that Lars really had to work down that line just to keep everything balanced and rhythmical. See, people have looked at the forecast and come prepared. Plenty of umbrellas on that long side. With a bit of a wiggle and jiggle down that final line, he has got the job done. 78.12. Clear there for Lars Kirsten, and already we're guaranteed a jump off here in the $40,000 Legacy Medical Centre jump off competition here on the penultimate day of Live Oak International. The horse has got lots of good qualities in there, lots of blood. Maybe a touch opinionated, but Lars does a very good job. Very quickly, Sean Jobin joins us, represents Canada. I know this one actually. Great Britain's George Whittaker had the horse for a while. He's 15 now though, he's by Warrant. This horse is called Darius. It's one that Sean's had for about 5 years now. And he likes this venue. We've seen him here a few times. He finished 9th in the World Cup qualifier back in 2020. And, he's really basing himself in Ocala here over the winter time. He's had some very good results. Quick reminder as well, if you have joined us on Facebook Live or you're watching live on YouTube, then you can get involved with the conversation. If you've got any questions, if you just want to tell me where you're watching from, always good to know that as well. If you've got any comments, good luck messages, anything you like actually, you can just stick it in the comments box below if you're watching on Facebook, or over to the right if you're on YouTube. It'd be great to have you involved with the conversation here this afternoon as things continue. 2 gone and 2 clear so far, and one theory would be that our course designer Olaf Peterson is a little bit nervous because his first 2 have gone clear. But actually I think this course is meaty enough, and I think we will see it sort itself out as things continue. We've got about 29 in total coming forward. I think he'd probably be aiming for little trip round the corner there. 6 or 7 clears is what he'd be aiming for, I would think. Just catches that final line. It's a real power question down that final line. Oxer to Oxer, second one having a Liverpool water tray underneath. So finishes on 4, 79.56, and 4 there for Sean and Darius representing Canada. Hi to Sonia, who is watching on Facebook while skiing in Hunter. I hope you've had some good snow. Jackie says, can you get rid of these scammer links? They're everywhere, Jackie. You just got to ignore them, I'm afraid. Hopefully they'll go away. If you are watching, please don't click on any of the spam links that you may have seen posted on social. The only place you can watch is Facebook Live, YouTube, Clip My Horse, or FEI TV. So don't click on any other links that these horrible people are posting. Right, let's get the next one underway. Nicolette Hurt represents the United States of America. Got some real nice horses at the moment. This is a world-class horse, actually. It's one that Laura Kraut won the World Cup with at Washington back in 2019. as well as Laura. We've seen Penelope Leprevaux of France ride this with some good results, and it's been a great horse for this rider to move up the grades and add a bit of extra depth to her team. It's a 14-year-old mare, this one, by Verdi, out of a Concord mare. But Fleurette has got all the class in the world. And you can see Nicolette really concentrating down that line and then just keeping that leg on, keeping the mare thinking forward through these kind of more open parts of the course. I mentioned at the beginning about the surface here. This most certainly isn't just a grass field. A few years back, the team here actually scraped off the grass, put an artificial jumping surface in, and then has laid the grass back on top. So, this is a sort of world-class surface to jump from. You can see Fleurette's really pinging off the ground today. The riders may have made a little bit of a change, because when they kind of came out earlier, it was a little bit drizzly, but then there's been quite a bit of rain quite quickly here. So depending on the horse, depending on their attitude towards it, they may have popped in an extra stud or two just to help with the traction on the way around. 80.37 is the time. Such a class pairing. Nicolette Hart and the amazing Fleurette jump clear here in the first round. I think we may end up with a couple more than 6 or 7 going clear here in the first round, but we'll wait and see. Sometimes you get this towards the beginning and then all of a sudden it does kind of sort itself out. But every clear we've seen, I think, has really been earned out there. Magic Hoop is next. Andre Tima is on board this one, the 11-year-old KWPN horse. This horse quite low mileage for its age. It's 11 years old, and we've seen Andre jump a few 140s, 145s, mainly at 2-star level over in Europe, and is now stepping this horse up. But Andre, a great horseman, great athlete. He's been to the Olympics. He's had the European gold and silver medal as well from the Europeans. It's always nice to watch him. His long legs, really helpful. He can kind of wrap his legs around these horses. Great to see so many people coming down here to Live Oak. A lot of them have been watching jumping all day, and then some of them will have been out on the marathon course watching the combined driving that takes place here. That comes to a climax tomorrow with the cones. When you walk this course and when you look at the course plan, I think that's the line that you would sort of highlight as being the most technical. Because not only has it got the gymnastic triple combination, you've then got that real delicate plank on the landing side. We've got to remember, you come out of the triple combination with power because you're coming out over the oxer. You start vertical, then you go oxer, and then very quickly that tiny plank is right there waiting for you. Just before today, Andre Tima and Magic Hoop, 80.37 his time. Finishes on 4 here in the first round. So 5 gone, 3 clears at this stage, and about 24 partnerships left to come forwards. Miga's watching in Croatia. Shitty Lady says he really does have long legs. He does. Rodent Razor says only 29 riders. Yeah, we had 55 yesterday, and I think, those that are looking ahead to the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup here, they might have just given those horses a bit of a day off. Alexandra Crown is next to come. Dumont for the United States of America. It's her first 4-star with this horse. She did her first 3-star with the horse earlier in the month. And a couple of years back, she had a bit of a nasty accident. And this is the horse that really helped her get back to the international scene. It's one that she got from the Stefex stables over in Europe. It's got some great breeding lines in there. And I think, this horse is just giving her a lot of trust and a lot of confidence. She's a nice, quiet, tidy rider. Oh, just has to get her leg on a little bit there, but that was quite reactive. I think she felt that the horse just dropped off her leg. I don't know if you could see. She just kind of gave her a little nudge and said, come on, just keep that rhythm, keep the tempo, keep moving forward. But this is where the real technicality comes. You've got to set up here, get your eye in, get organised, and executed well.
Okay, Marcia, let's go back. I've done one. Yes, I did, yeah. I've seen the video. For me, she went the right way.
Ah, penultimate fence comes down. Oh, and the last one as well. So finishes on 8 jumping. Little bit of time as well, 84.30. So 8 jumping 2 time. Time allowed set at 83 seconds. But you know, a lot to like out of that round as well. It's got a little bit deep and then really ballooned up there. Mario Delorier for Canada next to go. Costa Quick PS. Mario's one that everybody knows. You know, he's really done it all around the world. But this is a brand new ride for him. I think it's about their 6th or 7th FEI competition together. And it's an old ride of Alejandro Winkler. Now Alejandro was... Whoa! Wasn't expecting to see that from this partnership. Yeah, I was just about to say Alejandro is jumping this horse to 140 level. But since Mario's taken it over, he's pushed this horse up through the grades. And out of about the 6 competitions they've jumped together, he's been placed in 3 of those. And that's a real frustrating start there for Mario. But, you know, new ride for him, stepping up to this level. I don't think we're going to see him retire. You know, unless something else goes wrong, of course, but I don't think it will. I think he'll be using this just to continue this horse's education. But, you know, he's just stayed calm, he's just kept that rhythm, kept moving forward. And this horse will have, you know, come out of this round better than it went in. Mario's given it a stellar ride all the way around. We might see him possibly picking up a time fault or 2. Maybe not though, might be okay. No, he's going to be fine. Yeah, just the 4. And that was really unlucky. 79.08. 4 faults there for Mario Delorier. Depending on how things pan out in this competition, he might pick up some prize money. He's the fastest 4 fault round that we've seen so far. So 3 clears, then the best of the rest, 3 on 4. And yeah, it just didn't go to plan down there. Tiffany Hammock, she's had the bell, about to get underway. She's had some good results on this. You know, thinking back to about last September, she was at the World Equestrian Centre down here in Ocala. She won the Welcome Stakes there. She's had the horse for about a year and a half, and some great rounds in the 3-star. Again, over at the World Equestrian Centre a couple of weeks ago. This is a 14-year-old by Verdi TN. It's got quick star lines. It's called Verdi o Moverades. Tiffany Hammock rides for the USA. And if you are watching on Facebook Live or if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to get involved. Let us know where you're watching from. If you've got any questions or comments, you can add them on there. We'll take a look at a few more after we see Tiffany's round. Verdi looks like he's feeling good today. Plenty of energy. You can see Tiffany just taking some little checks down to the more delicate fences on course. And really using that upper body to just help keep things balanced. There's maybe a little bit of conversation going on around the corner. You can see that with her hands, and it might just catch up with her through here. Just got to get out over this. That was good adjustability and a touch of luck down that line. You could see as she landed, she knew the rhythm was a little bit long, so she really took a check and got things balanced. So it's good to see that kind of reactivity. But then takes the final fence, ticks over that time allowed as well. We saw her taking quite a few checks on the way around, and I think that just caught up with her when it comes to the time allowed of 83 seconds, and then has that final rail. But I think she'll be quite analytical. I think, when she goes out, she'll be kind of picking that round apart and just thinking of, where could they have gone a little bit more forward, or taken one less check to help with the time allowed. And of course thinking about that final line as well. Heather Piat Fisher is watching, and Doris Hudgens as well on Facebook Live says, hi, really enjoying this from Richmond. But I have a question, what are some of the breeds represented here? I mean, to be honest, most of these would all just be warm bloods now. Occasionally you see the odd Hanoverian, but I think warm blood would be the most common. Coco Faith with us now, Harley D. Somebody says, do some of the poles have some kind of sensors which can do some automation and counter the mistakes? No, we're not that technical. Those are just pieces of wood. They're just wooden rails. The sport gets a little bit more careful now that they're on those yellow cups. All the verticals and the front rails of Oxers are on shallower cups now. That was a new rule brought in by the FEI, so they're about 3mm shallower. You'll see the white ones, the under rails, are on the older kind of white cups. They were a bit more forgiving, so the sport has got a bit more fragile, but in terms of technology within the jumps, there ain't any. But we do have a ground jury made up of many members, so they're the judges, and they've got eagle eyes, and they're watching every single fence. Any other questions, feel free to ask them on YouTube. We'll take a look at a few more of those in a sec. First, let's focus on Coco Faith. She's had quite an early rail on course. She's had some great rounds in the 2-star at WEF with this just a couple of weeks ago. Takes that plank as well. And she's had the ride on Harley for about 5 years now, so they certainly know each other well. Comes down towards the last. And that goes as well. So it's going to be 12 in total. 79.02. 12 there for Coco, and Harley D still sitting on 3. And I think Olaf Peterson Jr., our course designer, has breathed a sigh of relief because things have sorted themselves out. We had those 3 clears quite early on, almost back to back. And then we're starting to see, some rails come down. But, there are questions on course that are more technical and others, like the triple combination down to the very skinny vertical. But other than that, the faults are appearing all over the place. Aaron Vales had a great campaign here this weekend. He had a win in the 4-star qualifier yesterday. Also had 2 wins yesterday at the World Equestrian Centre. He's been a busy boy heading back and forward across the roads. And he really likes this horse, Syed Ermiar. It's a 10-year-old KWPN horse. And I know he says with this one, the faster he goes, the better she jumps. So hopefully they'll get forward through into that jump off. Hi to Tristan, who's watching all the way in South Africa. Not the best start there for Aaron, having that first fence. Jan's watching in Ocala, Florida. Sonia's asking what's the age of the youngest rider. We'll have a look as the class continues. I'll let you know if we've got any really young ones. But we saw the 1-star Grand Prix here earlier today, and there was athletes in there who were just 15. The 1-star was a 135 competition. This is 150. But I know we've got people in here who are maybe 21, 22. To jump the World Cup, the Grand Prix tomorrow, they have to be over 18. This is going to be a real heartbreak round for Aaron, because, you know, when you look at how well this horse jumped that triple combination down to the vertical, the other technical lines, and then he ends up having that very first fence down. So I think you've got to, you know, have the frustration there, but the first and the last. And I think you can see a little bit of that frustration. You know, everything complicated on course, the horse made look simple. That he's been having some weekend with, you know, the win yesterday and, you know, some good success at another venue locally yesterday as well. And a few of the riders are having a bit of travel this week. You know, he went over the road, you know, about 10 minutes away to jump some other courses and other competitions yesterday. But people like McLean Ward are also jumping down in Wellington. So they'll be, you know, jumping here, getting on a plane, going back down there tonight and then back tomorrow for World Cup. Luis Sabino Goncalves comes next for Portugal. Vic de Cruzy, the 14-year-old mare by Lord Cathargo. Had a real good season in 2022. We saw them in the Las Vegas World Cup. They finished top 10 there a couple of weeks ago, top 10 in a 150 Grand Prix. And of course, this is an athlete who's no stranger to championship sport. He's from Portugal. He spent most of his life there. Moved to California about 2 years ago. Absolutely loved it. Feels very at home there. And I think, you know, from here on in, they'll have had a chance to watch the first one or two go, and that can be so helpful. You know, you've got your opportunity to walk the course, and the organising team here give them so much time. You could probably walk this a couple of times and still be standing down there having a bit of a chat about it, so they certainly weren't rushed. But even in those circumstances, it's still nice to watch a couple. A few people asking about the footing on social, on Facebook and on YouTube. So originally here at Live Oak it was, you know, a grass arena, and then for one season it was an artificial surface, which would have been made of sand and fibre, probably a touch of wax as well. But, you know, Live Oak is a special place, and they decided to make it a grass arena again, but that surface still underneath, so you can see the horses are really kind of pinging off it, and it's also given them great support as they land. And we had a lot of rain in a short space of time, and that grass isn't, you know, wet out there. It's drained really, really quickly. Right, great round there for Luis Sabino Goncalves for Portugal. Jumps clear with Vic de Cruzy. Gives us our fourth, and it's a real international field, isn't it? We've got Portugal in there, Brazil, Netherlands, USA, all earning a place for that jump off. But, you know, that horse is just pretty special. So much scope and ability, and very quick and clever as well. Jessie Phoenix is next. Good to see her here. This is Freedom GS. If you follow the other equestrian disciplines, you might know Jessica. She's an eventer. She's ridden on the Canadian Olympic team as an eventer. Oh, kind of got a bit sticky and then really kind of landed and shot forwards. And Jessie tried to contain it there, but just couldn't quite get things back and ends up having that second rail. But Jessica's a real hard-working rider. I remember speaking to her last year at the Royal in Toronto, and she was coming down here to Florida, and she actually, you know, finished the Royal and then drove the horses down here herself, and that is some drive. Her family's got a farm at home. We've got plenty of cows, and her husband shows the cows at the Royal in Toronto while she's there doing the arena eventing. And the kids becoming more and more involved as well. On paper, I thought we might see that come down another couple of times, actually, than we have so far. And by the time you get to, you know, fence 8, fence 9, if they are starting to get longer and longer, that also becomes part of that test as well. 81.68, it's going to be a total of 20 there for Jessica Phoenix and Freedom GS representing Canada. Having a look over on Facebook, we've got Nathalie watching in Denmark. Ibibel Equine Photography says greetings from Poland. And Wendy Hall says, nice Aaron, too bad about the first and the last. Yeah, that was a real heartbreak there for Aaron Vale. Plenty of talent still to come forwards here in this first round. Don't forget an exciting jump off to follow as well. Tristan says, what do you need to do to become an FEI show jumper? Well, you need to be able to jump to begin with, and I'll tell you more after we introduce this one. Nick Delajoyo Canthargos comes forward next, second in the $37,000 welcome stake 2-star at Tryon towards the end of last year, fourth at the National Horse Show, one of the speed competitions, and of course Nick following in his dad's footsteps as well. His dad, the US Olympic bronze medalist Norman Delajoyo, so he had plenty of input growing up from Norman. That was a shame having that second part. So yeah, to become an international competitor, really, you know, you have to be able to jump to a level, probably 130, 135, and then you need to look for a show that suits you, because if you're jumping at that level, you really need to be looking at kind of 1-star, possibly 2-star, but more likely 1-star competitions. I think Nick might be about to, yeah, gives his signal and retire. Nick's a great athlete though, great horseman as well. He's had some good horses over the years. So yeah, you want to be looking for the sort of 1-star competitions to start with, and then you have to enter. You enter through your national federation. If you're competing in the same country that you live, you don't actually need an FEI passport. The vaccinations can be a little bit different in terms of requirements compared to your national federation. So for example, you need 6-month flu vaccines. Some national federations would be 12 months. But other than that, you just enter and off you go. Maria Gabrielle Brugalgasso comes forward next, picks up a minor placing with one of our other horses in the 1-star competition here this morning. This is J'adore Flamenco that she brings with her to this one. Been quite consistent recently, second in the 150 jump-off competition a couple of weeks ago. Not too far from here actually. Jumped this horse at championship level. They've been part of medal winning teams, and Maria was born in the Dominican Republic. She moved to the US when she was 17. This is an 11-year-old gelding by Jatem Flamenco. Hi to Monty, who's watching on YouTube in the Netherlands. Courtney Dickelson says, I know it has to be an optical illusion and or the grade of the ring, but it's driving her nuts that fence 10 looks offset every time they show it straight on. We'll have to have a look at that, Courtney. I didn't notice that. Maybe it's just you, but we'll have a look. Kelly Edwards just joined us as well, watching in California. But yeah, if you have joined us, if you are watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, let us know where you're watching from. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask them. We'll keep an eye on the chats as things continue. But isn't Maria making a great job here? Hope I've not jinxed her coming down to this one. Go on, get up there. Yeah, I think the optical illusion. I think the bottom rails are offset on that one. I don't think it's an optical illusion. I think the top rails are straight on fence 10. For whoever asked that on on YouTube. But that was a real good round there for Maria Gabriela Brugalgasso and J'adore Flamenco at 80.59. Yeah, real classy horse. So yeah, for those that didn't notice it, you can have a look at fence 10 next time, and I think the bottom rails are a little bit offset, and that's absolutely fine. You know, you don't really see them anymore, but you did get Swedish Oxers, or St Andrews Oxers as they're called, where the rails are actually offset, so it almost forms a bit of a cross on the top of the Oxer, but you don't really see those too much anymore. Right, this is an exciting ride for Hannah Selleck, exciting horse for her. The horse is called Cloud, and it's one that Mario Delorier had. I've seen Mario jump the horse all over the world, and it's good to see Hannah jumping. I've not seen her about too much for a while, but she's had some nice clear rounds with this, but you know, really still getting to know each other. They didn't have the best outing here yesterday, but you know, the horse is getting to know her, she's getting to know the horse. Probably the first time she's jumped this horse on grass, other than maybe yesterday. And I know Mario's at the show, so I'm sure she's probably had a chat with him. because Mario knows this horse so well. Oh. He just took one too many checks down there. But you know, as their relationship continues to build and continues to grow, I think we'll see them jump some nice clears and end up in a lot of placings. Not sure if she might. I thought she might have put her hand up. Let's see how she's going to do through this triple combination. And then takes a little check and gets organised for here. But you know, Hannah is quite analytical, and you know, I think she'll go out of this ring today and she'll have a lot to think about. But keep an eye on that partnership, and again, you know, as that relationship continues to grow and comes together, I think we're going to see them do some great things. But that would have been a full body workout in there for Hannah today. She had to work quite hard. I think as, you know, the horse trusts her and she trusts the horse, she'll just be sitting a little bit quieter. That rhythm will just become a bit more fluent, and then the clear rounds will certainly follow. Here's a competitive rider, Jordan Coyle next. Winners of the Hits $100,000 Grand Prix towards the end of last year. Been riding this horse for almost 5 years. It's flown by, and he's really been working hard to, you know, step up to the 5-star level with this one. It's called Centrico Volo. It's by Centinel out of a Chaco Blue mare. It's 11 years old now. Someone asking about Penelope Le Prévost. For some reason she's not here. Haven't seen her for ages. I think she rode one of the horses we saw earlier, though. Maybe that's why it came up. But yeah, some people asking, is it Penelope? No, she's French, and it is Penelope. I know, because the first time I announced her as Penelope, and she came up and corrected me. So I can assure you it's Penelope. Fun fact. At the moment, though, sitting on those 5 clears. Jordan Coyle well underway here. And if this one gets through to the jump off, he'll be one to look out for. Looks like Jordan's wearing one of the liquid titanium masks. They came out a couple of years ago now, and they're said to kind of take the edge off a little bit. If you've got one that's, you know, quite hot and quite bloody, you can put it on about maybe half an hour before you come into the ring. You're meant to be able to use them for travelling as well, and it just takes the edge off. Little check down to the last, sets up nicely. There's a little rattle, gets away with it. 78.57 and clear there for Jordan Coyle. Centrico Volo earning a place in the jump off. That will add the pressure on as well. People know how competitive Jordan is, how quick that horse is as well. So yeah, definitely one to look out for. Suzanne Gill's watching in Shropshire, England, says great to see them jumping on glass. Mary O'Connor listening live from the Barn Isle in Middleburg. Good to have you with us, Mary. Jan Strickler says, what happens if you can't pronounce a horse or rider name? You say it fast and with feeling, Jan, and no one else will notice. Top tip. This is Andrew Burns making his way around. The top 12 finish in the 3-star at the Winter Equestrian Festival last month. 5th in the 2-star at Weth last week as well. And you know, Andrew's lived in Wellington for quite a while now. I think he moved here in about 2007. So really kind of making a life for himself after moving over from Ireland. And a lot of the Irish boys have done that and been really successful. When you look at, you know, Conor Swale ranking, you know, the highest he ever has in his career, and has just built a real top business with some real good horses being based over in North America. Derek Kenny falling into that category, Daniel Coyle as well, so many of them. About 12 left to come here in the first round. Then, of course, that jump off to follow as well. If you haven't yet done so, if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to hit that share button, tag your friends, share it into any groups you're a member of as well. Let them know they can enjoy the action here. And of course, quick reminder as well, tomorrow afternoon it's the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. It's the final qualifier on the North American League. Final chance to be special. That was unlucky today, to be fair. Just takes one rail, 81.93. Finishes on 4 faults, heads into 10th place at the moment. Remember, 12 cash awards in any FEI competition. Even if there's only 4 entries, you still have to give out 12 cash awards. So he heads into 10th place at the moment. Doesn't take much to catch these rails in the new yellow cups. So at the moment, Jordan Coyle's through, Maria Gabriela Brugalgasso, Luis Sabino Goncalves, Nicolette Hurt, Lars Kirsten, and Santiago Lambri. So that's the clears we have at this stage. Megan McDermott comes forward next. She's got a horse called Nintendo. Rides for the United States of America. She's been building up her string. I jumped a horse earlier in the one-star Grand Prix. We saw her with a couple yesterday in the ranking competition. She had a little bit of an unlucky weekend, so keeping everything crossed for her that we can pull out a nice round here. First part of the double comes down. Net Jets, bit of an optical illusion. It's quite a gappy upright. Is she gonna? Yeah, gives her signal to the ground jury and elects to retire there. Retiring is Megan McDermott and Nintendo. Just not wanting to play today. Emma Collat says, how long does it take to become a course designer? To this level, quite a long time. Olaf Peterson Jr. is a level 4 course designer, so an Olympic level course designer. His dad, who's also called Olaf Peterson, has built numerous Olympic games, who is, I don't want to give away how old he is, but certainly, you know, older, and is still out there course designing. So you can have great longevity as a course designer, but to get to this level, you know, you need to work through your national federation, all the way through those ranks. Then you can apply to be assessed as an FEI level 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4 is the highest level you can get. So if you're going to go from start to finish, you're probably talking about 10 years before you're, you know, building international competition. Let's go to Great Britain. Grace Debney and Just Spirit HS. She's been jumping the U25s down in Wellington during the circuit. She was 2nd and 7th in the Grand Prix classes that we've seen in that series so far this year. And quite a new ride for Grace, new one for her in 2023. It's a 9-year-old mare, this one, by Eldorado van de Zosuk. Came right down on that back bar. You can see the safety cups give way. For those that are new to the sport, the Ox are the fences that have got width. The cup that the rail sits in is actually made up of 2 parts. So the part that holds the cup sits in this special bracket, and if weight lands on it, the cup gives way, and that's to, you know, save horses getting injured. It's a real good safety feature. They've been around for a while now, though. But Grace is a young rider, about 19 years of age. We saw her jump on the Nations Cup team with a different horse just a few weeks ago down in Wellington. .80.86, a lot to like about the round. but just one coming down. Goes 10th, Grace Debney, and just Spirit HS finishes on the 4. Not too many left. We're down to the final 10 here in the first round. Great to have your company though. If you haven't yet told us, let us know where you're watching from. And again, any questions, comments, whatever you want to say basically, you can stick that in the comments box below. While you do that, we get one of the best in the world underway. McLean Ward, he's got First Lady with him today. He's had the ride on this one for about 4 years now. Robin Parsky purchased the horse from Rennie Tebble, whose daughter had been bringing the horse along, and McLean showed her through the 7 and 8 year old jumpers and has now been moving her up the ranks. And what a great education this horse has had. McLean again is having a busy weekend. I know I mentioned this earlier, but he's travelling up and down to Wellington. He's got such breadth and depth of his string that, you know, they've got a top class event on down there. We've got the World Cup here, and he's got enough horsepower that he can have separate horses at both events, and they're just close enough to fly up and down to and still make start times. He'll be ready for a day off on Monday though, I think. But he's one of the athletes that we'll be seeing at the World Cup finals in Omaha in a few weeks. And if you remember, you know, the last time the World Cup was there in Omaha, it's the one thing that McLean had been chasing and not managed to get for so many years of his career. Then in front of a home crowd, he managed to clinch it. He got the job done, and he became the World Cup champion. So let's hope he can do that again when he heads back there. Today though, finishes on 4 here in the first round, 79.33. But great to see that horse coming through the ranks. Great education it's had. He is the second fastest of the 4 fault rounds we've seen, so heads into 8th place at the moment. Still 6 clears at this stage. Excellent B comes next, long-time partner for Nikki. Grew up at her family's thoroughbred farm, and you know, has been a part of the sport for many years. We've seen her at championships. But this horse has really been fantastic for her. It's a 14-year-old by Berlin out of a heartbreaker mare. This is Excellent B and Nikki Walker for Canada. But yeah, Nikki knows this one inside out and upside down. Jennifer says hello again from Ottawa, Ontario. A retired paramedic and an FEI level 2 coach and judge. Good to have you with us. Nikki making a nice job of this so far, and it's nice to see this horse out. That was a shame, just got the first part of the triple combination coming down that line. Getting fast 4 fault rounds, still good enough for a top 10 finish, and that could get you in the money today though. Finishes on 4, 79.16. She becomes the second fastest 4 fault round, so goes 8th. Mario Delorier the fastest of the 4s, then McLean Ward pushed down to 9th, and Nikki Walker goes into 8th place. And I think that news will have, you know, already filtered backstage. The riders will be aware that if they have an early rail, it might be worth just moving up a little bit in the gears and just trying to get home a bit quicker, because fast 4s, I think, might just feature. Colleen Loach making her way round to the start with FE Goldeneye. Colleen's competed at the highest levels of eventing, and it was Colleen's mount this one for the 2018 World Equestrian Games. Already had a win in the intermediate eventing at Top Pine this year. Good to see a couple of eventers coming to join us here. Yeah, of course. Ah, a couple have caught that. Such a real delicate fence, and you've got to remember the way that horses see things as well, and they're quite dull rails. It's going to be an exciting jump off when we get there. It's a shame that Colleen won't be with us, but I hope you guys will be staying watching. And don't forget, if you want to watch tomorrow, the only place to be watching is Clip My Horse and FEI TV. Then, of course, highlights are available on your televisions around the world. If you're over here, then CBS Sports is the place to go. But it's available around the world on various TV channels, the highlights coming your way early in the week. So keep an eye out on local listings for that. But tomorrow, FEI TV, Clip My Horse, only two places you can watch the World Cup. It won't be on YouTube or Facebook. So if you're not already a subscriber, well worth having a look. There's tons to watch from all the disciplines available on those channels. But finishes on 4 today. Does Colleen Loach in FEI GoldenEye, 77 her time here in round number 1. Now, this is a combination that if they go clear here in the first round, it'll put on a ton of pressure because he has done so much with this horse. They were the winner of the World Cup in Texas, winner of the World Cup in Toronto, they were 8th in the World Cup in Washington, and if you've got really good memory, you might remember them from this World Cup here in Ocala last year where they just missed out and finished in 2nd place. But he knows this horse really well. They trust each other so much. And boy, is he competitive. And if you were to talk to Daniel and think, he puts a lot of science and measuring involved, then I think you'd be disappointed because he just has bags of natural feel and natural talent. He's not landing thinking it's, a long 16 strides. He's landing thinking that he briefly remembers when he walked the course that it was a bit longer than shorter, so he better get his leg on. But he just gets his eye in there and makes those tiny adjustments. And that's a strategy that's really paid off for him. And again, watching him at World Cup finals this year, I think is going to keep us on the edge of our seats. Come on, Daniel, one to come. All the way, 78.94. Earns that clear round. His brother Jordan Coyle already in the jump off, and now Daniel earns his place, 78.94, and clear in the first round. Good round there from Daniel. So those coming early will have to be thinking Daniel Coyle's towards the end. They need to put as much pressure on to try and kind of force him to almost take that extra risk. Let's get Paul O'Shea underway next with Squirt Gun, 12-year-old mare by Diorado. Quick star on the dam side. This horse doesn't really look at anything, so he can really take the handbrake off and not have to be too worried. So again, if he gets to the jump off, would be one to watch. Paul's got a great string of horses at the moment. He owns this one with the team at Eye Candy Jumpers. But it's a real powerful, brave type of a horse, and Paul's been there and done it. We've seen him at World Equestrian Games, we've seen him at Nations Cup finals. Someone asking about triple combinations and asking is it common to see it with one stride rather than a 2-1 or a 1-2. And it really depends on the line and on the level of competition. Obviously the sort of technicality is completely different depending on what you do in that triple combination, whether you have power coming in or power coming out. So these are all little tools that the course designer will use. And it's certainly no coincidence that after that triple combination today that we see that really delicate tiny rail on landing side, because we're coming into the triple combination today with delicate upright. We'll see it through here actually. Then you need enough power to get out, but from that power you need to be back within a few strides to be able to tackle this. So as long as you've worked on your adjustability, and that's something that you can work on without any jumps at home, or just by using rails, or even when you're out hacking or trail riding, you can ask the horse to move up and move off your leg. Then you can ask it to come back, and really that adjustability is such an important tool. But that was a great round today from Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun. Ireland's well represented today in that jump off with Jordan and Daniel Coyle in there, and now Paul O'Shea. Going to be a good jump off when we get there for sure. Rattle asks, do they still use green ribbon for green horses? I know they use red ribbon to mean that they kick, but do they still use green ribbon, sworn competitors? I have seen green ribbon used. At this level, it's more common just to see red ribbons, and you'll either see them in the tail to say the kick, or sometimes you might see some sort of red ribbon or bobble or something put in the horse's forelock, or at the front end, just to warn you that the horse doesn't like getting too close at that end either. And in some countries, I know certainly in Great Britain, green ribbon is used by our para riders. So if you see a green ribbon in the warm-up in the UK, then you know that they're a para rider and may just require a little bit more room. Sean Jobin coming forward next. Cuba Libre the 5th is the 11-year-old mare by Korna Tobolensky. This horse was imported to the US at the beginning of last year. 3rd in February across at the World Equestrian Centre in one of the 145 competitions there. But a real new horse to international competition at this level. You see him just having to take a little check here and there just to keep that rhythm nice and established. Oh. Caught up with him. You could see down that line he kind of thought he saw a longer one, then maybe a shorter one, and tried to make a bit of an adjustment here and there. And we talked about how related this line is down here, and you could see that kind of really carrying forward. That rhythm that you have coming off the corner, the approach to the first part will carry forward all the way down that line. It is just so committed. There's no room. It might look like you've got a bit of space here and there to take a check, or get them from your inside leg to your outside rein, or whatever you want to do down there. But really, the questions come at you thick and fast. It's all about preparation there. And I think Sean made the right decision to retire. They've only got so many jumps in them, these horses. He was out of contention. He knows he's on a quality ride. And he decides to call it a day. Will Simpson, he had a good day yesterday. He actually led the way during the big international competition here, the 4-star yesterday, and then he was sort of pipped to the post right at the end. It was a real shame actually, but he's had some good placings over the last few days. Not going to be his day though with this one. He's had this one since it was a 5-year-old. Isabel Cox actually owns the horse, and it was her family that bred this one. He's had several wins in the Welcome and the Grand Prix classes at one of the venues that's quite local to here. And Will has spent, pretty much his whole life in California. Quite recently moved down here to Ocala. Now, if they have 4 faults, they could still get some money. There's 3 left to go. We know it's top 12 for cash awards, and we've got 8 clears. So taking all that into account, I said another one right now. It's all academic from here on in. A few of the riders will be thinking about world ranking points as well in this one. But I think Will would have liked a nice slice of the prize money. Just catches that rail as well. The rain kind of starting to come down a bit more now as well here. And then catches that final fence. 84.27 the time, so with the jumping and time faults combined, it's going to be a total of 18 there for Will Simpson and Whoop-de-doo. 3 partnerships left to see here. 3 left to go in the first round, then of course a real exciting jump off to follow. Hi to Maria, who's just joined us watching in Poland. Again, if you are watching on Facebook Live, let us know where you're watching from. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments box below. Great to see so many conversations happening though over on YouTube. Great community that is always on there. You know, helping each other with questions, having a chat about what's going on. And it's Andre Timi that's back on track with us, brings forward his second ride of Kanako, a 12-year-old gelding. No, Andre says with this one, he's had some great international wins. He's a real fighter, this horse. He's a great partner. You know, he's hoping that their journey continues for many years, but he's always fresh, he's always going. Just has to kind of work on that control element sometimes, just keeping that communication, keeping those channels open. But it's been a long time partner for Andre, and he's had some good Grand Prix wins. Most recently, in fact, just last month it hit Socala. Stories and Random says Squirt Gun, what a great name. Talking about the Polo Shea ride that we'll see in the jump off. He's watching on YouTube. Rianne's on YouTube saying that it's a difficult course. To be fair, I don't think it is a difficult course at this level. I think, you know, with 29 in it, if the course designer had got many more than 8 or 9 clears, he would have been a little bit disappointed. You know, clear rounds at this level really have to be earned. Otherwise, it's not sport. And we know they're going to a jump off, and we don't really want to see the horses be sort of galloped to try and have to, you know, be placed in this competition. It should really be about the jumping. So there's nothing trappy or over technical out there. There's just a lot of questions that come at you really, really quickly, and you can see the experience of Andre Tima there, just answering them so perfectly, getting the clear round, and then he comes back for that jump off against the clock. Two left then. The penultimate one on course is Ashley Bond, represents Israel. Ilka de la Palme is the 9-year-old mare by Cartoon Z. This is one that Ashley added to her string last summer. Just had a win in the equestrian triathlon and second in the Grand Prix at the Ridge. The Ridge is down in Wellington in Florida, and is a kind of friendly, laid back show that some of the riders, you know, just take a little break from the Winter Equestrian Festival to go and enjoy occasionally. But Ashley's been building up her string, adding some good breadth and depth, and of course her dad Steve, a great supporter of hers, and I know he's here helping her with the horses. But Ashley is, you know, becoming a real prominent member of Team Israel, riding right up there at the highest level. Also finding time to be a mum as well. Oh, having to work a little bit down that distance to set up. One to come. Oh. Jumps the last 81.36. Had to work hard at times, but that hard work pays off. Ashley Bond jumps clear here in the first round. Ilka Dilapom for Israel brings us up to 10. 10 clears at this stage, and just one left to come here in the first round. Devon Ryan is last to go. 11-year-old gelding by Action Breaker, this one. It's called Hangover. He's had this for quite a while. I know we saw him at the National Horse Show at the end of last year. Had a good placing in the two-face class there. And he's quite a kind of versatile horse. We saw him jump the Puissance at Washington and finish 6th there, clearing well over 2 metres. 10 clears at the moment. Let's find out. Will it be 10? Will it be 11? We'll know that in under a minute's time now. Devon's got tons of experience. We've seen him on medal-winning teams before. I know this is a venue he likes. And the horse is really pinging off this surface. You see that look of concentration as he comes down that committed line. You can see the crowd here have come well prepared with their wet weather gear. But it's great for these kind of local, it's such a horse community. So for these local riders and horse people to be able to come down and watch, you know, some of the best in the world compete at the top level. Must be great to have this in your sort of backyard or your community. Come on. Really makes him wait down there, but just doesn't pay off. Fast 4 fault rounds though, still making it in the money. If he can get home in about, you know, somewhere between 77, 79 seconds, then he will pick up some money today. Oh, I think he might be too steady for that. 80.27 with a rail. It's 4 faults there, and Devon Ryan is pushed out of the awards and down to 16th. He will finish there with Hangover. So 29 combination starts in the first round here, and it is going to be a total of 10 that go through to that jump off against the clock to see who's going to be the winner of the $40,000 Legacy Medical Centre Longines World Ranking competition here on the penultimate day of Live Oak International for 2023. For those that are a little bit new to the sport, the jump off is a shorter track, and it's where we're going to be looking for them to turn that little bit tighter, find the most economic route, and really open things up. We're off to the races in just a couple of moments' time. Santiago Lambri is going to be in there. We've got Lars Kirsten, Nicolette Hart, Luis Sabino Goncalves, Maria Brigel Gasso, Jordan Coyle, Daniel Coyle, Paul O'Shea, Andre Tima and Ashley Bond, coming back in the same order as they jump clear in the first round. So they're going to retain that draw into the jump off against the clock. And again, if you do have any questions on YouTube or Facebook, or you want to say hello, now's a great time to do it. I'll keep an eye on those as we hand things over to Olaf Peterson Jr., our course designer. He's going to get us ready for that jump off. So we just take a very short pause there. Do not go anywhere, because this is going to be an exciting jump off, and it's on the way in just a couple of moments' time. Welcome back then here to Live Oak International and to the $40,000 Legacy Medical Centre competition. We have 10 going through to the jump off against the clock, coming back in the same order as they jump clear in the first round. We'll take a look at that jump off course as we get our first partnership on track, and it's going to be Santiago Lambri who gets us underway representing Brazil. So here in the jump off, shorter track, plenty of options, so you want to be making those tighter turns. And obviously you want to be going that a little bit faster as well. You want to be picking up the pace, and you're trying to be the fastest one with the lowest number of faults. And, you know, normally it's the fastest clear that will be taking that victory. $40,000 in the prize fund. And the FEI rules allow the organising committee to split that in two ways. Either the winner can get 25% of the prize fund, or they can get 33% of the prize fund. And then the rest is split amongst the top 12. And it always tells you in the FEI schedule how the prize money is going to be distributed. And then when it comes to the actual calculation, there's actually an app, the FEI Judges app, that works out the prize money. So you can put in the prize fund, the percentage that's being used, the number of starters, and it'll work everything out for you. Anyway, back to this jump off, and here's Santiago Lambri and Casey on course now. We start over fence number 14, so that's fence 2 backwards, then fence 1 jumping backwards, that's been numbered as 15. From here, rolling back right-handed to the net jets vertical at fence number 6. And then it's left-handed as we come down towards the triple combination. Second 2 parts. 8B the vertical. 1 stride out over the Oxer at 8C. Continuing on down that line to fence 9. It's still that delicate plank on top for that one. Then left-handed round towards the blue vertical at 10. Fence 11's been taken away, so it's all about risk and reward as they want to get the leg on, open up, and down over fence number 12. He gave the back bar a rattle. It's still up though, and that means Santiago Lambri sets a standard 42.60 and clear there for Santi and Casey. So standard's been set 42.60, and I think, you know, as things continue down that final line, he got a great angle here by the way, but down that final line they're really going to have to be getting the handbrake off and trying to put as much pressure on as you can. I don't know if you can see it, but the final fence, I don't think it's as square as it was. It looks quite ascending now. So the front bar looks a little bit lower than the back bar. And that kind of enables them just to keep that forward pace. It's a more inviting fence for the horse, you know, when they can see that front bar and back bar independently. Lars Kersten first to take on the challenge. This is Big Beauty Z for the Netherlands. Right, let's see what Lars is going to do. So these first 2 fences are the same first 2 fences as we saw in the first round. They're just jumping backwards this time. You can see there's a couple of options there around towards the net jets at 6. Oh, just fighting a little bit in the turn. You can see him taking a check, keeping that rhythm organised for that vertical. And this is where they can really open things up. And this all comes down to how brave you are, how lucky you are, and what horse you're sitting on. 48.55, so a touch steadier than Santi. Lars Kersten heads into second place. 48.55, second for now. Santiago Lambri still leads at this early stage. 8 left to come. And I think we might see that lead change. Not sure if Santiago's done quite enough. It was a great round, but we've got some fast ones coming towards the end. Florette comes forward next. Real championship type of a horse. I know we mentioned this in the first round, but you know, it's the one that Laura Kreitz won a World Cup with at Washington. Penelope Leprevost had some good results with this horse as well. Let's see what Nicolette's going to do today. Nicolette Hart next for the USA with a time to beat of 42.60. Just having a look on YouTube, and Rianne says, go Lars, he's got a nice horse. Up the Viking says, nice round, but he played it safe. Always good to have you guys involved with the conversation. And it's not too late. If you've just joined, let us know where you're watching from. Any comments about this jump off, stick them in that comments box. But let's see what Nicolette's got in store for us today. I think we'll see them be quite careful down to that vertical. But then you've really got to start, getting that pace up, thinking about those turns, being as economical as you can. You can see her kind of steadying down a little bit just to get this roll back turn, and I think that's where the time's going to be wasted a little. Whoa! Got hung up in the air. Comes down on the back bar. We see those safety cups giving way on the Oxer. Comes down towards this final fence. Oh! And just didn't quite get there on the stride that they wanted. So she's got 4 faults for the refusal added in as well, and of course that time's going to be costly. Time allowed 61, so she will end up with some time faults as well. See the real die-hard fans that are sticking with us, even though the weather's not been particularly helpful to us here this afternoon. But it's great that they're staying here, supporting these athletes. And that was a shame for Nicolette, who finishes in a total of 15 today, 67-21. It just didn't quite have what they wanted, did they, down to that final fence. Now this one could be interesting. They've certainly got the experience. Luis Sabino Goncalves, Victor Crozy. 42.60 is the challenge here. He's another real competitive rider. Quick hello as well to Alison Clark, who's just joined us on Facebook Live. Good to have you with us. Angela Scher says cheers from the Napa Valley in California. Some great wine from there. But now let's focus on Luis, because he's competitive, and you can see him just setting up, getting himself enough room for that turn. And he can just keep moving forward with this horse, then take the little check that he needs. And the horse is quick and clever and gets its feet out the way. Really tight through here, and now he opens up. We could be about to see this lead change. Just keep moving forward, jumps the last. And a great round, 40.39, straight to the top. Luis Sabino Goncalves now leads the way for Portugal. 40.39 is the time to beat. Certainly not over with the talent that waits backstage, but that will have added some pressure on for sure. A couple of real competitive ones, and Jordan Coyle falls into that category, as did Luis there. But this is Jordan Coyle, Centrico Volo. He's had this horse for a good number of years. It's one that's quick. It's one that he knows enough to be able to trust. He's just reminding himself of that course, getting things organised, getting that rhythm established, and then we'll see what his plan is here in the jump off. There's not too much you can do down this line. And to get that turn on landing, you wouldn't want to land in too long a canter anyway. But that was tidy through there. Didn't waste too much time around the turn. Moves up down to this delicate fence, then takes a little check. Horse comes back. Again, looking at that adjustability. 40.39 to beat. Oh, it's gone! But now he's really wellying it down there to that final fence. 39.40 is the time. Caught the time. He knew as soon as he had that rail, he wants to be the fastest 4 faults for sure, to hopefully earn a good check here in this one. So 39.40, we now know the time can be beaten. We're keeping it in the family, having a bit of a brotherly chat as they swap over. Jordan's out, Daniel's in. Daniel Coyle next with Legacy. Real world-class horse, this one. Won a couple of World Cups and placed in at least one or two others as well this season. A combination that we will see at World Cup finals in Omaha, Nebraska in just a few weeks. But this combination, no stranger to the winner's circle. Of course, I've also got to keep in the back of our mind as well is what is, oh, it's gone. I was going to say, what's Daniel, doing in here today? Is he, here for the lion's share of the $40,000, or is he thinking about a setup for tomorrow? But you can see how balanced that horse is in the turn, and that comes down to the flat work really. That being able to turn, keep the front end nice and light, keep the power behind, and this is really uncharacteristic for this horse. The wins that we've seen this horse have, from memory, I think were pretty much indoors. And perhaps that plays into it a little bit, but he's won so much outdoors with the horse as well. 43.95, total of 12 faults there for Daniel Coyle and Legacy. Just a little bit off the boil today. So no change to that leaderboard. Luis Sabino Goncalves leads for Portugal, 40.39. Santiago Lambria, Brazil, in second on 42.60. And Lars Kersten of the Netherlands in third in 48.55. Paul O'Shea's Squirt Gun comes forward next. He's got his sunglasses on. He'd be better with an umbrella, I think, today. That rain really coming down. And it's a real testament to the ground and the going and the surface here that, you can see, the water's not flying up as they land. It drains really well, and it still allows the horses to feel some good support as they land, and that's really important for the horses' confidence, that when they land, the ground or the surface doesn't move away from them. They feel that support, and it allows these riders to keep making these kind of sharp, tight rollback turns. Now 40.39 is the time that the team have to beat here. You can see him moving up a little bit, not going to be quite fast enough, but still a nice solid round today, and we'll get a good placing. 43.50 into third place for Paul O'Shea. Squirt Gun pushes Lars Kersten down to fourth. Santiago Lambri still second though, and Luis Sabino Goncalves still leading, 40.39. Not too many left then. In fact, we've just heard Maria Gabriela Brugelgasso has withdrawn. So that's one less to see here in our jump off. Andre Tima is next. Konako. And there should be one to come after him. That'll be Ashley Bond to wrap things up for us here. I'm not sure why Maria decided to call it a day, but it may be that, given the rain and the fact her horse jumped its heart out in the first round, she decided to not to jump off for that reason, or it may be that she's saving it for World Cup tomorrow. But anyway, she won't be jumping off. Really opens up down to the last. 40.39, time to beat. Has he done it? Not going to be quite quick enough. 41.44, but goes second. Andre Tima and Kanako into second place with just one left to come. So one left to feature here. Luis Sabino Goncalves leads. Andre Timas second. Santiago Lambre sitting in third. And there's one left to come. Represents Israel, Ashley Bond. Elka de la Pomme, the 9-year-old mare, and a time to beat here for them of 40.39. What we see here, just taking a check there, asking the horse to wait. Keeps moving forward but goes outside. Whoa, so let's take a little check down here, just get organised again. 2 fences left. What's she going to do, she lands here? I think she'll get her leg on. She'll open up. 40.39, time to beat. Not going to be quite fast enough, but still a solid performance. 42.89, and will finish in 4th today. Ashley Bond there for Israel. Elka de la Pomme takes the 4th place position. And that means the top 3 are confirmed. We say congratulations to Luis Sabino Goncalves of Portugal. 40.39 our winning time. Andre Time takes 2nd with Kanako. And it's Santiago Lambre finishing in 3rd today with Casey. A time of 42.60. But great afternoon. A good starting field in the first round. 10 making it through to that jump off against the clock to battle it out. And they certainly didn't disappoint, but I think Luis is going to be so happy with Victor Crozet. Really jumped its heart out today. He took the risks, he opened up down to that final fence, and he will take the lion's share of the $40,000 here in the Legacy Medical Centre stake at Live Oak International. And we've seen some great sport over the last few days here, both in the show jumping world and in combined driving as well. And there's more sport to enjoy tomorrow. The cones for the combined driving and, of course, the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup, the final qualifier and chance to earn points here in the North American League before we head to the finals in Omaha, Nebraska. So make sure you join us for that. Don't forget, though, if you want to watch the World Cup here, it's not on Facebook, it's not on YouTube. It's going to be on FEI TV and Clip My Horse. If you haven't yet got a subscription, don't forget there are free trials available, but get that organised before tomorrow because you've got some great talent here. People like McLean Ward, Kent Farrington's here, Margie Engels here. There's some real good ones and some real international talent as well as those homegrown ones. So congratulations to each and every one of them. A big thank you as well to everyone who's come to join in with the conversation. Alison Clark saying great round for Portugal. Peter Banks says he's watching. You're a bit late to the party, Peter, because we're just about to have the prize giving ceremony, but thanks for popping in. And of course these classes are available to watch on demand on YouTube and Facebook as well, so if you have missed any of it, if you want to re-watch any of it, then you can just rewind it and it will be there for you to enjoy a little bit later on as well if you want to go back and re-watch it. But we're standing by for the prize giving ceremony. We'll be turning over to our arena announcer here, John Kyle. He'll take you through the prize giving ceremony. We'll see those top riders come back in. You can join me tomorrow alongside Katie Stazak and the team for the FEI World Cup. And of course, don't forget the highlights available on television around the world. CBS Sports here in the US. Eurosport over in Europe, and a whole number of channels throughout North America, Europe and the rest of the world. So look out on your local listings, look at your sports channels and look for the TV highlights here in Live Oak Ocala. They'll be with you early in the week, so don't miss those. But if you want to watch live tomorrow, check it out on Clip My Horse or FEI TV. Type it into Google, you'll find it, and we will see you there. But from all the team here in Live Oak, I've been Adam Cromarty. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you very soon.
high jumping World Cup qualifier Ocala here at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon in the Grand Prix ring. We've got a world-class field of horses and riders looking to take those final all-important points to send them to Omaha, Nebraska and the FEI World Cup finals.